Well, I'm going to start a video this way, and it's going to be a bit casual and personal today rather than it being about audio and hi-fi gear. So if you're in for a story that relates to why I built this room, then please stick around. And if you would rather hear about reviews and equipment, then maybe you can skip this one. This one will get copyright blocked because I'm going to play music through the whole thing. As long as they don't mute it entirely, I should be okay. So here's the story behind the day. Today is Sunday. Today is Mother's Day. I made a playlist for my mom a number of years ago, and I was visiting for Christmas. I got to spend some time there and put together a playlist that was curated. She and I sat down and curated the playlist many years ago, actually, on the computer, but it was not loaded to Spotify or streaming. So I loaded each of the 135 songs, well, here on Qobuz anyways, and we sat and listened to music, and it was a great time. The catch in the story is my mom then later passed away of cancer. And I was putting the playlist together so that I could continue to listen to it, as well as make it easier for her to listen to in those last little while. This room is the result of a dream or a vision, which is actually the name of my mom's restaurant at some point. This room all came together in white as a tribute for her, because she was getting sick, and I wanted a way to listen to music with her and remember her and spend time. You know, this is a scented candle that was in her home the last 2 years. This is her ex-partner's sword that he gave to me many years ago, and then he passed away of cancer. And then I bought these two from my mom, so now these two can sit side by side together in comfort as a memorial. So there's a lot of sentimental value and reasons why I've done everything in white, and everything looks a certain way, and I've got the colors set up, and so there's a reason why this room looks that way, and that's the reason why. I made this playlist a number of years ago for us and for my mom, like I was explaining. So I'm spending the day today just scrolling through it and listening to some of the songs that are on my mom's playlist. Some of them are quite old. She grew up in the 60s and 70s as a teenager and had influences from older people at the time, and many of the songs are from an era that predate her generation per se, but that's what she was familiar to. In a way, I guess that's the same thing like us. We associate with our generation of music and that which we're exposed to. And the same goes for hi-fi gear in a way. Those who grew up with vinyl say, I didn't grow up with vinyl. I have CDs everywhere. CDs were the topic of interest when I was growing up. Cassettes a little bit, but not so much. Vinyl was still around, but it wasn't a major thing in my household, so I didn't have a lot of it. Pardon me, I'm gonna turn this light back on. After a number of hours, it turns off. So I didn't have vinyl in my home, so I don't have vinyl in my system now. I do have a number of records, but I don't have a vinyl player. So I ended up just making playlists for this music. I have some of the CDs, but not a lot of them. It's all digitized. I have it copied onto Spotify, and this is playing through Qobuz, through the Weem Pro Plus, actually. So there's the streaming device there. And through the Rotel. You guys know my system. If you're new, then welcome. Thank you for watching this video for Mother's Day. a little bit more emotional and story driven than it is hi-fi gear. So yeah, the room is set up in this way because one, let's wander a little bit. I don't move around a lot in my videos. So one is the paint is like this gray color. You see like there's white and it's gray. So I didn't really want to use the stock paint. The paint is a little bit off. And now that I've had like other things on the wall, you see like there's these lines here. I had black fabric curtains in here and it stained the wall. So now I have the option of covering it all up or cleaning the walls. Now I guess I could. I stuck the panels back on here. Some of the stickers are not holding very well. So I need to make some adjustments. This panel's still missing. It's not complete, it's a project. And with timing and budget, I can only manage so much. I spent a long time yesterday, like I mentioned in my previous video, moving a lot of the towers around, shifting them backwards, forwards, pulling them further into the room, moving them side by side. I didn't test them one speaker at a time. That's something that I could do. When I eventually get the subwoofers in, yes, I actually have subwoofers planned on the way. So when the subwoofers come in, I can play with them further. So if I bring the towers to a certain imaging place, then I can hopefully cross them and then move the subs in a different position. I did move my chair. My chair has got a center mark here in the room, but I moved the chair forward so that I'm more in line with the first reflection point. So I've got more soundstage width and width here in depth. So the imaging here is nice. And this position of the speakers is the compromise to where I have my room nodes. There's like a 70 hertz room node that's up in the middle of the room, and then there's a 60 something room node in the middle of the room, which is essentially like double the width of my room. I did some calculations today to figure out the math. Now I think the only thing that I can do is take my friend Jay's advice, which the number one thing was move my speakers around, which I've done. Now I've discovered what the frequencies are, and I've done the math for the calculations. 8-foot ceilings, 10.2 feet wide, roughly 13 feet deep. So all the node calculations are there online. The next best thing I can do is add some absorption panels to the back of the room. Maybe the side walls to absorb some frequencies here. I thought about maybe separating these out, so instead of it being one solid panel, I could move some of the tiles over and have like every other square, like solid absorption, solid absorption, solid, you know what I mean? And then separate it so I can move some of the pads further that way, further this way, cover up the wall, move the curtains around. I want to keep this white theme. The mirror is sort of temporary until I get a diffusion panel there, although I like using the mirror for my videos. Essentially, that's why it's still there. The candle's a touch, the projector's a touch. This I have in the room not for any kind of joke. Could be you can make a joke about it. It's in the room essentially because I wanted to mount those binaural audio microphones, the ones that Technodad uses. I wanted to use those, and then I can actually position this like that's not going to stay there. There's no way I'm going to get that to balance. Can I do it? Is your boy skilled enough? Oh! Excuse me, sir. Do you like the way it sounds? Are you having fun today? It actually looks like a set of shoulders and arms. Damn, that looks creepy. Excuse my sense. See, this is why I was mentioning on my Facebook, my sense of humor is a little strange, and not everybody appreciates what I do for a sense of humor, but it does look like shoulders and arms. That's really weird. I just decapitated him. Excuse my sense of humor injection there. But if you like it, just comment and tell me what you think. So what I was also thinking is, because I have all this fabric, and these are just essentially curtains, right? Like it's white on one side, silver on the other side. They've got grommets at the top. Essentially, because I have all this fabric, what would you say to breaking up the room instead of having solid whole wall panels, which I don't know what they're absorbing, high frequencies only? What would you think to cutting them up and making panels so I can cut them into squares and put like a square there and a square there, maybe like a tall vertical, you know what I mean? So instead of it being curtains hanging from the wall, I could make like a box frame and then wrap it in fact. The problem then is you're going to see that terrible color paint. And let me just move this over and I'll back up so you can see the color of the wall. So then you're going to see like this gray color. You can see how it's not, I don't want to see this gray color. It sort of matches the carpet. It's not too bad. I might have to clean that up, but I don't really want to see the wall, to be honest. So, anyhow, on my very sort of somber Mother's Day, I want to say thank you. Thank you to the sunlight. Thank you to the grass outside my window. You guys want to see the parking lot? That's right. I'm on the ground floor and I don't often get out to see a whole lot. It's always in the apartment for me. Not necessarily afraid of the outside, but anyhow, that's 11 minutes spent talking with you guys about this stuff. I hope you understand the room a little bit more, my theme overall. The white and black is definitely a theme that I'd like to keep. It's a tricky puzzle. People in the comments recommended doing room correction. Now, I understand that room correction is everybody's buzz term these days, but I'm using a Rotel unit right now, and that's what I have. My future preamps, I was not thinking of getting anything with room correction to solve that problem. If I'm honest, most of the times that I've heard room correction, I don't like how it sounds. I don't know why, I just don't like it. So I wasn't planning on using room correction, and I was planning on trying solving this problem without throwing a certain amount of money at it. Now, of course, room correction or bass correction or subs with correction, there are a number of brands out there, some of which I won't buy anymore, that do have room correction solutions, but I wanted to do this the physics way, without spending the money, without buying the units to solve my problem, by measuring, by playing around, by doing the things that most of my audience, you guys can access, things like moving your equipment around, doing relatively inexpensive panels, positioning things in the space, the speakers in a certain space or the chair in a certain space, being open to moving these things around. And then in my case, obviously, I want to keep the theme the same. I don't want to, change the theme too much. That's really important to me here. So, again, the playlist, it's for Mom 2022. Same thing on Spotify. I can link these if you guys wish. Try to put them in the description. Just enjoy your time. Saying in some of my Facebook videos, we each have a unique life, and we've come to our personal taste in music, our personal taste in sound, our personal relationships with our families, and it's not all the same. Not everybody has the same type of upbringing or same experiences with people, or we each have a journey to acknowledge and live through. So it's not always so easy to just point a finger at where you come from and say that this is for you also. Not everybody relates to the same things, and The reason, again, why I'm not doing like pay-as-you-go room correction is because I don't feel like that relates to the most people. Most people are not going to have the money to solve that problem. But it is essentially a physics problem in the space. So I've chosen to take on that explorative type of demonstration by walking through the steps and playing with my own gear and giving my results, as well as physical measurements and resources if you need them, so that more people can experience it. And, you know, with Mother's Day, same, like my case, my unique case, has nothing to do with anyone else. So I am choosing to embrace the fact that others are celebrating their time and enjoying their days and enjoying their family, and those who have the fortune and luxury and privilege to enjoy those moments. You know, that's good. I want to express love for you, appreciation for that, and I think that's wonderful. Just again, as a point, not all of us have the same type of lifestyle, and with audio, none of us appreciate all the same sounds. Now, there will be an argument there somewhere in the comments, like, what about Floyd Tools measurements and psychoacoustics and preferences? And yes, those measurements were true at a certain time. However, I would argue that when they were done, I would like to see what people like nowadays. I'd like to see that chart updated. I'd like to see a new sample group, because over time, things about people and lifestyles and music or whatever change. Music has changed. Recording processes have changed. The gear, the testing equipment, the fidelity has changed. I'd like to see what happens now. So that's the word of the day is... I don't know if everybody knows how to spell his name, so let's go with the word measure, as in the measure of time in music, as well as the measure of data related to listeners of music. What a great song. Into the Mystic. This is one of my mom's favorite songs. Wow. It's not very loud, but yeah. So anyways, I'll leave you with that. Again, this video is going to get copyrighted and non-monetized. I'm not making money from this. I just want to hear from my friends what your thoughts are, how your days are, what you think of the perspective, what you, again, maybe suggest for the room. I am asking for suggestions, so don't feel like I'm putting you off when I say no. It is a suggestion. I know that I've asked for it, so I respect that. It's more like I'm looking for suggestions that more align with what I want to do instead of going in a completely different direction. You know, we still are who we are, and I have goals the way you have goals, and it's about finding the middle point, trying to figure that out. So anyhow, that's 18 and a half minutes from me. That's more than enough for a Mother's Day Sunday in May. Thank you very much for joining, watching, listening, subscribing if you do. That's cool. That's helpful. If not, just comment if possible. That's very nice and helpful. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your Mother's Day. To all the mothers, thank you so much for being brave, courageous, capable, loving, caring. Mothers bring us all into the world. We respect them with the utmost love and honor. To the fathers who do what they have to do to make sure the mothers have everything they need, sometimes more than that, thank you very much to the fathers. And enjoy your music. Enjoy the meaning of the music. Enjoy the connection of the music. Enjoy what great songs bring to our lives. The memories, the nostalgia, the joy, the expression, the help, the medicine that it is. Anyhow, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves.